Thank you for tuning back and staying with me here. What I'm going to present to you now is I'm going to demonstrate how we convert these numbers. So as you can see that I have a board here. Please don't mind my handwriting. I never had the nicest penmanship, okay? But what I'm going to show to you is this is the Hawaii election 2016. We're going to look at the race ID, the ballot name. We're going to put together a database. Summary ID, sequence order, and then 1 for yes and 2 for no, meaning 1 is the winner and 2 is no. So as on the ballot, we recreate this. We're going to recreate a database, okay? So this is how you do it, and I'll be doing this usually using Excel. But since we don't really have like a smart board, I will be putting, if you can see this here, can you zoom into this? Would that work? Okay, these are the presidential elections. As you can see, 2016, 14, 12, 10, and 8. Now we're going to be putting these names in order. ID names. I'll be doing it on the board because I think you can't really see it too well here. Okay, so let's start here. Race ID. 1, 2, 3. Okay, race ID is this is the first race, which was the presidential race. Let's look at Castle. Castle, Clinton, Johnson, Stein, and Trump. Now what you're going to notice as you put together a database from all the previous years, 2016, 14, 12, 10, and 2008, you will see different styles of reporting. And again, it's some are covered up. I think some are covered up better than other years. And like for example, this year is totally messed up. 2014 is kind of very clean. Okay, so let's go to race ID. Now if you look, when you look at the data report or the text report that comes from the Hawaii General Election Office, that's where I'm getting my information from. This is all race ID number 1, okay? That was the first big race. Summary ID now becomes, summary ID, Clinton now becomes 4. This is taken from the text file. Trump becomes 3. Johnson becomes 2, and Stein becomes 1, and Castle becomes 5. Sequential order, Clinton is now 2. Wait, hold on. Clinton is 2. Trump is 5. Stein is 4. Johnson is 3. And Castle becomes 1. This is the sequential order. Now 1 is for yes. Clinton 1. So we'll put a 1 here for her. Okay? And the rest gets 2s. Those are the losers. Okay. Let's look at, we're going to skip now to race number 5. This is the District 2 race, the one that I was in. Now I'm going to look at the ballot name, which is Kaaihue, which is Gabbard first, and Kaaihue second. Summary ID is 26 and 25 and 26, just like how it was alphabetically ordered, 25 and 26. Now the sequential order, because Gabbard won, she becomes 1 and 2. Okay, first place winner, that's the alphabet order is 1 and 2. G comes before K. So it's listed in alphabetical order 1, 2, and the winner is 1 for Tulsi because she won, and I lost, so I'm number 2. Okay. Sorry again. Please don't mind my penmanship. Now for Race number, let's look at the next race. 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay. Number 6. Race 6. Who is this? This is Kaaihue and Arianov. Kaaihue, Arianov. Summary ID would be 27, 28. Sequential order, because Kaaihue won, it switches 2 and 1. Because as you can see, here is the alphabet switch. It's called an alphabetical switch. Okay? Kaaihue 1 comes before A. So we put his results before 1. So the number of the results is 1 and 2. Now I want you to take a look at this pattern here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. The winner is 1. 1 is always on the top. Okay? 1 is always on the top. So that is how we input into a database 1 through 26. I kind of skipped some, and I went straight to number 5 and number 6. We're looking at the two-man races. To apply this pattern sequencing here, this here, and this here. And we're looking at alphabetical switches here. Okay? And that's how we're going to build a database based on this number, and these numbers, based on these 3 categories here. Because I'm going to turn the board over, and we're going to do away with names, we're going to do away with race IDs, and we're going to be looking at the summary ID, the sequencing order, and then a yes or a no if they win or not. Okay? All right. Let's turn the board over. You guys ready for that? Take a look now. Observe that this number does not change, okay? As you would note, it wouldn't change because Gabbard comes before Kaaihue, and in this situation, Gabbard wins. She won, so it stays 1, 1, 2, 2. That stays constant. The number, the sequential order now stays constant. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, you got that? Kaaihue, Arianov, it switches. Alphabetical switch. 2, 1. But yet the winner stays 1, okay? Winner always goes on top. And this ID switches. Okay. We're going to turn the board over. Again, I apologize for my messy handwriting, but I want you to take a look at that. Because if you had to do this 1 through 26, or actually for the entire race, 1 through 99, okay, there was 99 races for this year, 2016. You'll see a significant pattern of inconsistencies. I'm going to turn the board over now. Okay? Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay, we're going to be looking at race 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And of course, you know, I did this all the way through race 99. Okay, I did all the races, all the way to 99. I analyzed the data, all 99 races. We are only doing it right here in the studio, these certain ones, just so that you can recognize the pattern, so you can recognize the method. This is scientific data analyzing. It's very simple strategy. You can do this on your own. Okay, so 5, again, Gabbard comes before K, so it's in sequence, candidate ID. This is candidate ID. This is the order, and yes and no, okay? So 1, 2, Gabbard comes before Kaaihue. The order number, 1, 2. We're not going to switch the order number because it was presented to us from the Hawaii General Election Office. It was presented to us this way. I'm taking it off how they presented it to us. Yes and no, 1 and 2. So number 6 again was 6 was Kaaihue, Kaaihue, and Kimberly Arianov. Hope I said that right. 2728. 2728. So that tells me the candidate ID number is 1 and 2. because 27 came before 28 as it is presented. The order number is now 2, the sequential order, 2, 1. It becomes 2, 1. And then the winner is 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. Let's look at the next one, which is 7. Rudderman and Fogel. It's presented to us as candidate ID number 29 and 30. 29 and 30. So candidate ID number would be 1 and 2, 29 and 30. Okay, sequentially. It stays sequentially. Now, Fogel and Rudderman. So it's presented to us as 2 to 1. Because in this situation, in this race, Rudderman won. And the sequence changes 2 to 1 to 2, 2 to 1. It's the sequence number changes. 2 comes before 1, so they switch this. And then we have the winner on top. The winner on top is always 1, so that number comes first. Okay, so number 8, let's look at 8. Race 8. 31, 32 is Chang and Sloan. Okay, so it's in sequential order, Chang and Sloan. Chang comes first, 31, and Sloan comes second, 32. Now, Mr. Sam Sloan and Stanley Chang. Okay, and then we have 1, 2. Chang won. Okay, and it's presented to us, Chang won, so it's a sequence. The number that is given here is 1 and 2. And then we'll put 1 on the top for winner. So as you can see, this row, this column, yes and no will always stay constant. Okay, 1 will always be on top. The person who won will always be on top. But what we're going to be looking at is these patterns right here. You're going to be seeing significant changes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking at, and we're going to be evaluating how many times those switches. There's 4 patterns. Okay, there's only 4 possible patterns when you look at a 1, 2, 1, 2, 4 numbers, right? There's a let's look over here. There's a 1, 2, 1, 2 pattern, and there's a 2, 1, 1, 1 pattern, and there's a 1, 2, 2, 1 pattern. And there's a 2, 1, 1, 2 pattern. Okay? You follow me? You follow me, right? Okay. There's 4 patterns. There's only 4 possibilities, right? It's like genetics, studying genetics. There's only 4 possibilities. Let's look at number 9. Let's do number 9. You have a 1, 2. It is in, the candidate ID number is 1 first and 2 second. This is Les Ihara and Arnold Phillips. I really don't know all these people, but so I'm giving you a fresh perspective, and there's no favoritism in this. I'm reading it straight off the data here. 2, Ihara and Phillips. So we have the sequencing is 1 and 2, and the winner is always on the top, 1 and 2. Okay. Number 10. Let's do number 10. 2 and 1. We have number 10. Oh, there's 3. Actually, there's 3 races. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's that throws a little curve to it because there's 3 people in this race. So I'm going to skip, and we're going to just look at the 2-man races. I want to skip that one, and let's go to. Oops. Let's just look at the 2-man races. That's a lot easier to identify and to create this kind of pattern. So the 2-man races would be, let's go to number 12. It's presented 41 and 42. This is number 12. 1, let me make sure, 41, 1, 2. Okay, race number 12, race number 12, race number 12. So we're looking at Wakai comes before Kalinowski, Roman Kalinowski. It's presented to us as 41, 42. 1, 2. And then the Wakai wins, okay, so Wakai, this number will always be constant now. Wakai wins, so we have an alphabetical switch here. This is an alphabetical switch. Wakai wins, comes before Kalinowski. So the number that wins is labeled as 1. Okay, that stays constant. That doesn't change. So we have a 1, 2, 2, 1 pattern. Okay, now we're going to kind of just skim through all that. You kind of have to do that for every single race to determine a pattern. Now let's look at 38. We have 97 and 98. Okay, this is Yamani, Ryan Yamani, and Catherine Kupuka'a. 97, 98, that's in chronological order, alphabetical order. So we're going to put this 1, 2 here. Now the alphabetical switch is the 2 and 1. So Yamani wins. So the alphabetical switch is there. And the number who wins is the 1, 2 on top, right? I'm going to just put a line here because this is a different section. 39. Let's do 39. 39 is 39. Okay, we have 199. Okay, they've been switched. Then the ID numbers have been switched 199. So we're going to put 2 before 1. Okay, that's the, you see that it's always 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we have a 2 before, 2 on top and a 1 in this candidate ID identification. Now we put, this was the Rose Martinez and Bob McDermott. So Martinez comes before McDermott, but yet in the sequential order is presented as 2 first and 1. 2, 1, and that's a constant. So we have this pattern here. Okay. Let's look at 40. That's Brian Jeremiah and Matthew Lopresti. It's presented to us as 101, 102. So 101, 102, that means it's in chronological order or in sequence. 100 candidate ID number 101 and 102. Then we have the order of the sequencing, which is 2 and then 1. 2 and then 1, and this stays constant. That stays constant. Okay, so can you see that? We are here, 40. This was the Jeremiah and Lopresti's race. Let's go to 41. 41 is Tupola, Andrea Tupola and Stacy Lynn Eli. It's presented to us as 104 and then 103. Okay, now that's because Tupola comes before Eli. Tupola comes after Eli. So yes, they switched the candidate ID number, 104 to 103. So 104, 103, 104 first, 103 second. We're going to put 2 on top and 1 on the bottom. 2 and 1. Now the sequencing makes sense. It's 2 first and then 1. Okay? And then Miss Tupola won, so her number is reported as 1 as the winner on the top. Okay, so there's this pattern. When there's an alphabetical switch, because Tupola won, Tupola comes before Eli. Let's look at 42 now. 42 is Gates, Cedric Asuega Gates, and Mark Pa'aluhi. 105, 106. That's how it's reported. Race number 42. Race number 42. This block here, we're going to put 105, 106. So it stays in sequence. So it's 1, 2, 105, 106. 106 comes after 105. And the sequencing is 1 and 2. Because why? Because Gates becomes before Pa'aluhi, so it stays in alphabetical order, 1, 2, and the reporting number is 1 and 2. Okay, now we'll do one more, 43, which is Marcus Oshiro and Scott Noty, 107, 108. So it stays in alphabetical order, and then you have 2 and 1, which is Marcus Oshiro comes before noti. That's why there's that sequential 2 to 1 element, N-O-P. Yeah, okay, and then 1 and 2. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, there's 4 different types of patterns. 1, 2, 1, 2. How many patterns do you see here? 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, okay, there's 1 there, there's 2 there, 3 there, there's 4 there, and there's, oh wait, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4. 4 patterns, just right here in this block here of information right here. There's 4 times this pattern here, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? Now let's look at pattern 2, 1, and then 1, 1. How many do you see here? 2, 1, 1, 1. This is where the candidate ID number switch, and this is where the sequential ID number switches as well. Like is in Andrea Topolo's case, and where you had the 1 was always on top. We're just looking at these 4, this column and this column. We don't care about this column because that's a constant. That stays, the winner is always reported on top. So, okay, so 2, 1, 1, 1. How many do we see here? 2, 1, 1, 1. 2, 1, 1, 1. 2, 1. Do we see any? Not here. Okay, so there's 0. Well, let's see. We'll put 4. We'll put 4 here because this is just on this block of information. 0 here. Okay, now let's look at the next one. 1, 2, 2, 1. 1, 2, 2, 1. 1, 2. Here's 1. Here's 1. 1, 2, 2, 1. 1, 2, 2, 1. That's one set of numbers. 1, 2, 2, 1. Here's another one. That's 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6. 6 with the pattern where they kept the candidate ID numbers in order, but they switched the sequencing numbers. And then finally we have a 2, 1, 1, 2 pattern. 2, 1, 2, 1. Here's a 2, 1. Oh, there's none. Oh, do we have a 2, 2, 1, 1? 2, 1. This is the same as, wait a minute, 1, 2. 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. We should have a 2, 2, 1, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, hold on. We're supposed to have a 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1 pattern. How many 2, 2, 1, 1 patterns where they switch the ID number? Okay, they switch the ID number, like in this case, they switch the ID number with the sequential number 2, 1. So you have a 2, 1, 2, 1. There, 2, 1, 2, 1. How many patterns do we see of these? We see 2 of those. Okay, 2. Did we cover all the patterns? So let's double check this one. 2, 1, 1, 2. There is none of those. 2, 1, 1, 2. There's none of those in this little demonstration here. So we have 4 where the ID numbers stay consistent with the sequential numbers. You have 4 of those. Don't, never mind that number. That number is the overall when you take the 1 through 20, 1 through 99 candidates. We have a 2, 1, 1, 2 pattern where they switch the candidate ID number, but they don't switch the sequential number. Okay? There's 0 of that in this little demonstration. And you have 1, 2, 2, 1, where the candidate ID number stays the same, but the alphabetical order, that's why there's this alphabetical switch, 2, 1, we have 6 of that here in this demonstration here. And then the 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, where they are consistent, like what I would expect as in Andrea Topola's situation and Stacy Lynn Eli, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, there were 2 of those, 1 and 2. And race 39 happened to be the Martinez. So, but this does not tell us, this does not tell us who won or who lost. It's just saying that there were inconsistencies in this type of data reporting right here. Patterns, there's 4 patterns of reporting. And 4, 0, 6, 2. that is very inconsistent, that's lousy reporting, that's lousy data, because if you look at other years, 2000 and, let's say for example, 2012, you don't have this kind of sloppiness. In 2014, you don't have those kind of sloppiness. And the other year that had a big problem was 2008. There was a lot of misreporting or switching of candidate ID numbers as well. 2010, it's interesting to note that there is no, on the ballot there was a number 4, but in the report there is no 4. There's no 4. In fact, there's 6 2 times, as on the, that was when Charles Dejoux and Hanabusa was running against each other. There's, on the ballot, he's number 6, and Hanabusa was number 7. And in the presidential race that year, oh no, that wasn't the that was the Senate race when Inouye was running, Daniel Inouye. 4 was eliminated from the report, the summary report. But yet it stayed in sequence. So that's what this paper here is for. It's a summary report of all the years. This is just all the federal election, if you can see that. The federal election races. So we did that. We looked into this data patterns for every election from 2008 to 2016. And I don't think you can see that too well, but again, 2016, 14, 12, 10, and 8. Okay? So what you would first have to do is generate this. This is your candidate ID for 2016. Can you see that? There is 1 through 61, 2016. Go a little bit more up. 2016. Oh wait, hold on. There, 2016. See that? You would have to create your database first. Okay? It's like recreating a database of all the names and of all the candidates and of all the races. This compared to, let me show you another one. This compared to 2014. Here's 2014. Let's look at that, 2014. This is 2014. A list of names and their ID numbers in alphabetical order. And 2014 was clean. Okay, when I compare the summary results with the text data, it was clean. You wouldn't be able to recognize any discrepancies in 2014. I would have looked at this data and I would have said, oh, there's nothing unusual about this. But when you take a look at 2016, it's mixed up. 2008 is mixed up. 2010 is pretty clean as well. You wouldn't be able to recognize or identify anything. And then, of course, 2012. So those are things that needs to be looked into, and that's what I found when I analyzed the data from the Hawaii General Election website, and that this, a couple of professors already said that this warrants answers, and if it warrants answers, I think a federal investigation should be looked into, and if not, if not this time, it will never be. We need to change the system. We need to look into how these numbers are being reported, because if there is candidate switching, and I'm saying this kind of candidate switching went back to 2008. So, the obvious things led me to look deeper, and then I looked deeper, and I actually went back to 2008 to look at these results. And these results, it shows that back to 2008, that these kind of ID numbers and this kind of inconsistency in data reporting existed back in 2008. Okay, again, like I said, 2014. If I was in 2014, if I looked at these results, I would not have been able to see anything wrong with the data that was presented. No switching of IDs. Either they were consistent with it, or either they went in and they fixed it afterwards. But 2016, now remember, in 2016, we actually took pictures of the ballots before and after. And people were actually told to take pictures of their ballots, so that way they can't change the order. Now we're assuming that all these years, the past years, that the candidate IDs were listed in alphabetical order. And if they were listed in alphabetical order, as we assume, I mean, we don't have pictures to show proof that we've had alphabetical orders of these candidates within the past years. So we really can't look at that. The only way is to look at the ballots. And from what I understand, we have never, ever looked at the ballots. We have never dug into the boxes and did a hand count. It's like prohibited to even look at the boxes and to see the ballots, to see the actual ballots and do a hand count. Yeah, that's not allowed. But anyways, I just wanted to bring this to you because I was a candidate. I don't like the way politics are, and it's really detrimental to Hawaii's future the way if this continues. And I think really something, if Mr. Trump, our future elect president, needs to perhaps look into it, and this explains why he never came to Hawaii to campaign, because even if he came to Hawaii, he would have lost anyway based on a rigged election. So why even bother coming to Hawaii? And I really think that Hawaii, we deserve better. Democracy should not be controlled by a group of elites, and that we should ask for a better election, better politicians, and a better future. And this is just so wrong for Hawaii, and I'm so sorry that this has gone on for so many years, and that the ones who have won, if my theory is correct, that the ones who have won didn't win, and you know, it's really sad that we had to go through this as Hawaii, as citizens of Hawaii, as a state. It's really sad. So I hope that you are able to understand this information. If not, then, oh, okay, I have one more last thing, which is the absentee votes. Let's talk briefly about that. Let's go to the PowerPoint presentation. Back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, slide number 40, right? We're on slide number 40. If you take a look, we have here 266,000 people voted for Clinton. Okay, this was discrepancies as well. You have Precinct A and Precinct B. This was a summary report that 437,000 people voted, okay? So the numbers add up. If you look on the left-hand side column of all the voters, and including the blank votes and the overvotes, it adds up to the total turnout of votes that turned out, which was 437,000. And if you add up Precinct A and Precinct B, they equal to 437,000. Okay, next slide. This is the senator race. I hope you can see this. The senator race, if you add up all the votes, it's 437,000, because we're assuming that the same amount of people that voted for the Senate race voted for the presidential race. And that was 437,552 people. Now, if you take a look at the absentee columns that is presented to us and given to us in the text files, you have 137,000 plus 150,000, which is equal to 288,000 of absentee votes. Now, the difference, if you took that from the precinct, the summary report, which is presented to us at 288,000, when you add up the two numbers, and then you have a 181,000 that is given to us, because you're supposed to combine the two numbers to get the total amount of absentee votes. You subtract that from the absentee votes that's given, there's a difference of 107,013 absentee votes in the Senate race. How can that be? It just, it does not make sense. Okay, next slide. This would be the U.S. Representative District 1 race. Okay, total votes 213,000. The absentee B votes that was given for the District 1 is 137,937 as given in the summary report. But now for these votes, I actually went in and I looked at the precincts, individual precincts, and I added up all the numbers of absentee votes from all the precincts. There's 257 precincts, approximately 257. And I added up all those numbers. They came out to 93,900 votes for the absentee votes. Now, that is a big, huge difference of 43,487 difference in the absentee votes based on what is presented here. They're saying 137,000 absentee votes, okay? But I only counted 93,000. That's a difference of 43,000. Okay, next slide. District 2, again. District 2, the absentee votes came in at 150,848. Now, when I added up Tulsi Gabbard's and all the absentee votes, it was 84,912. And difference is 65,936,000 absentee votes. Okay, so 150,000 minus 84,000 is equal to 65,000. Okay, next slide, please. This was the precinct D2 absentee votes. Okay, there was a total of 139,708 absentee votes. And the number that was presented to us it differs. It's different. So, I mean, we should be entitled to a summary report and a text file, a precinct report. They should all equal and they should complement each other, not be different. Okay, next next one is this slide I found very interesting, because when you take the precinct B, which is when you take precinct B, the summary report of 213,444. Precinct turnout A, okay, that's District 1, 213,444 of the turnout. And then when you take the total for the Part B, or Part A, the absentee turnout, 224,000, and you minus the 203,000 that was summed up from the summary report, you get a 10,227. And then the total B, 224,108 minus the 234,000 that was reported, the amount of voters that was reported in District 2, you get a negative 10,227. And I just find that very ironic that that first number in District 1, 10,227, the difference, equals the same amount of number, 10,227, except for a negative. It equals the same amount of votes in the B column for District 2 column. District 1 equals District 2. That is that something is wrong, seriously wrong with that. You don't have District 1 equals to the same as District 2. Okay, that warrants an investigation and warrants answers. Okay, next one, registered voters. I also looked at the registered voters. Now, as we see from 2004, 2008, 12, and 16, the amount of registered voters, which is on the towards the bottom three, 647 registered voters. Every year it goes up. It slightly goes up from 647 to 18 to 691, and then it goes up to 705,000, and goes up to 700. So every year, this number of registered voters increases. Yet the amount of turnout voters stays the same, 431,000, 456,000 for 2008. That's the bottom number. Look at the bottom number. I'm looking at the bottom row. 431, 456, 447. And then this year, with Trump election, it went back down to 437,000 while the amount of registered voters went up. That doesn't make sense either. Okay, and then the next slide would be... Okay, of the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence, nearly half held seminary or Bible school degrees. And this is going back to the beginning of time when America was first created. I mean, half of these people, half of our forefathers had seminary or Bible school degrees. What does that tell you? That tells you that America was founded by those that had Bible school degrees, right? I'm not going to say if they were Christians or not, but they had Bible school degrees. That's nearly half of them. Okay, next one. We, the people, are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who would pervert the Constitution. What does that mean? Abraham Lincoln. What does that mean? The men who would pervert the Constitution. They must have had that problem back then. Men who would pervert the Constitution, and now we have this problem too. I mean, I was told I couldn't. They wanted me out of the race. They wanted me out of the Democratic race. They wanted me they wanted me out of the Republican race. They were trying to pervert the Constitution and take away my constitutional right to run in an election. So they had that problem, I guess, back here, perverts of the Constitution. And do we have perverts? I mean, isn't it possible that we could have people who are perverting the Constitution today? Okay, next. Thank you, Hawaii, for listening to my evaluation of the Hawaii general election. This was my first time ever entering into an election. And this will be my, I don't know if I will do this again, but you know, I only lost out $4,000, so I don't feel like a big loser because I only lost $4,000 that we invested in our in this race. And with $4,000, heck, you know, I mean, I sure accomplished a lot. I met a lot of new people. I met a lot of great friends, and I got my name out there. And I think that's creating a public awareness, and that is what this is for. It's to help you, Hawaii, to help America, to help the people of Hawaii. And that is the reason why I'm presenting you with this information. Okay, next slide. So thank you so much for tuning into 144,000. Thank you for bearing with me, and aloha, take care, and I hope to see you again. Aloha.